We're live. Okay, we'll give it a few minutes. We are live. Again, we got that echo. Okay. So hello and welcome to the Global Youth Mental Health Awareness Show, where we have open conversations with the youth about mental health. I'm your host, KATINDA, the author of The Big Comeback and the founder of the Confidence and Self-Esteem Academy, as well as one of GYMHA's special board advisors. Now, in today's show, we are so blessed to have three amazing panelists. And our first panelist is Dr. Mahima Bakshi. She's the founder and owner of Birthing Natural Queen, woman activist. She's an author, Birthing Naturally, a woman and child wellness expert, a model, and actor. Hello and welcome to the show, Mahima. You can unmute yourself.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much. I'm so happy to be on this amazing panel, and I would like to thank GYMHA for giving me this opportunity. And I'm super excited for today's discussion.
Thank you very much. And our second panelist is Deepshika Tripathi. Deepshika has been on the show a few times. She's a counselor, life coach, founder at the Price Trust, project director at Pupanantham, and GYMHA training manager. Hello and good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the show. Deepshika, can you hear us? Okay, we're having a problem there. And our third panelist is Edwin Kibek-Gitao. He's a certified addiction psychologist, founding director at the Right Center, country director at Global Google Ambassador, GGA Kenya. Hello and welcome to the show, Edwin.
Hello to you, KATINDA NDOLA. Hello to you, Dr. Mahima and Deepshika. I feel good to be on the show. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much for joining us. Now, in our conversation today, we're going to be talking about anxiety, which is something that affects everybody. But before we do that, I'd love to know, how are we feeling today? Dr. Mahima.
So I'm at the moment, I'm in India, and it's almost about 3:30 in the afternoon here. And it's been a great day that's going on, and it's pretty hot here in India. Like I was just talking to you, it's I'm sure it's cold out there in Australia, and it's like totally opposite weather over here. And looking forward to today's discussion with such amazing panelists and an amazing moderator.
Thank you. What about Deepshika? How are we feeling today?
I'm feeling really excited to be here, and as always, it really feels amazing to be on this platform with amazing people.
Thank you. Edwin, how are we feeling today?
KATINDA, today I'm feeling very anxious. I just got my second jab of COVID, and I don't know what is likely to happen. So there is so much anxiety. and also it has been quite a while since we last had this conversation.
Well, this is a good starting point because you said you've got anxiety. So what is anxiety and why are we so anxious? Edwin, because you just said you're feeling anxious.
Sorry, I didn't get you. Well, it seems there is too much echo. And can you kindly say that again so that I can get it right?
Okay, so you said you just got the COVID-19 injection, and you said you've got your anxious. So what is anxiety and why are we so anxious?
Well, thank you, KATINDA, for that one. There is a lot of anxiety in me because this is something very new to everybody. When we first got the first jab, we were told there were so many theories about what to expect and how to respond to it. and it's been only 2 days since when I got the job, so there's not been much manifestation. I don't know what to expect. I'm still anxious. I'm observing myself. I want to know what is likely. Previously, in the last job, I got a mild headache and there were temperatures, but this time around, I don't know what to expect. So I'm anxious, but then it's good to go.
I think you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Just trust that everything
Sure,
will be fine.
sure.
So,
Sure.
teacher, Dr. Mahima, how would you describe anxiety and why we're so anxious?
So anxiety is like feeling constantly worrying and restless, and that constant thought is coming. Lots of thoughts are coming in your mind, and lots of hotch and potch are there. So that's something like anxiety, but it's always not that anxiety disorder. A little bit anxiety is necessary to just perform to our best levels, but when it just go ahead at that level, then it needs to be noticed, and necessary steps are needed to be taken in that, especially when it just persists after 6 months, even after 6 months. For 6 months, symptoms of anxiety, like Edwin has just mentioned, headache and that feeling of anxious and worrying kind of things are persistent for 6 months, then definitely it needs to be taken care of, and expert help is needed then. Otherwise, it's okay. A mild level of anxiety is a part of life, undoubtedly. So that was my take.
Thank you. What about Dr. Mahima? What's your take?
Ever since COVID has started, all of us are constantly going through a lot of anxiety levels. So, feeling on the edge, feeling nervous, thinking too much, not being able to relax your mind. And sometimes you can get palpitations also, where you can feel fast heartbeat, not being able to relax yourselves. So, it's important for an individual to have self-awareness. So everybody should know the signs of anxiety. They should know when they feel that the anxiety levels are becoming too much. It starts disturbing their lifestyle, where they're not able to sleep, they're not able to do their regular work, they're not able to concentrate on their agendas of the day. So that's when, of course, definitely that they should, seek help so that they're able to live a normal, regular life.
Thank you. And how do I know if I'm experiencing anxiety? So, what are the symptoms?
Yeah, so symptoms are basically feeling restless and constant worrying thoughts, like that's exaggerated, always exaggerated pattern of thoughts, and palpitations, of course, and then increased heart rate, blood pressure, and sometimes in extreme cases, panic attacks may follow, definitely those things, and headache. Different people actually basically having different symptoms, but some symptoms are common, like constant worrying thought patterns, and then unable to control those irrational thoughts. Like those who are able to control that, they are fine, that's fine. But those who are not able to control definitely need to address that instantly, as soon as possible.
Thank you. Mahima, how do I know if I'm experiencing anxiety? What else can you add?
Yes, so yes, Deepika has absolutely mentioned it right, that these are the signs and symptoms that one should watch out for. However, controlling these symptoms becomes important. Then it's okay for them to be able to manage it. But if they're not able to control them, then definitely seeking professional help, helps them to learn on how they can use different techniques, how they can use relaxation techniques to, take control of their mind and body.
Thank you. Edwin.
Uh, thank you, Katinda, for the opportunity. Now, I would want us to look at at anxiety as a manifestation of stress. I tend to think that when we are stressed, one of the manifestations will be something like anxiety. And stress is anything that the non-specific response of the body, which is automatic. And what are the signs and the symptoms that you could be stressed or you could be undergoing anxiety? I would want us to look at them in 4 categories, just like Deepshika has mentioned and Mahima. But if we categorize them in 4 categories, first one being the physical reaction, the emotional reaction, the psychological or the thought or the psychological wellness, and the behavior. In the physical reaction, you'll find people will manifest with tremors, others will be sweating, shortness of breath, and sometimes people will vomit. Depends on person, from person to person. There are those who will have dry mouth, tension on the muscles. That is the physical manifestation of anxiety. Then there is the emotional manifestation, which is something like what I have described. I'm worried. I have that fear in me. It sounds like I'm stressed, you know. That is the emotional response to the manifestation of stress. And we agreed that anxiety is a manifestation of stress, the body's response. Then we have the psychological, the thoughts, where you identify people who are lacking focus. There is no concentration. They look confused. They have that negative thoughts. They started being suicidal. These are the psychological manifestations of anxiety. Then finally, we have the behaviors. You find somebody's behavior is changing all of a sudden. He starts being withdrawn. He starts being a lone ranger. He started just like you see. I don't know whether KATINDA or Mahima has experienced this. When you have anxiety or fear, you always keep checking on whether you've locked the door. Yeah, this is the behavioral manifestation of anxiety. So thank you. That is my input.
Thank you. So just moving on. So the 6 types of anxiety disorders, is that some of them that you were mentioning before?
Pardon me?
You know, we've got 6 types of anxiety disorders. So the ones you were talking about, you mentioned about 4. Is that some of those, you know, behavioral, psychological, is that part of it?
Well, the disorders are different from what I've just said. You present these manifestations when you have different types of disorders. We have categorized them. We have like 5, 6 of them. The ones that are very common. We have generalized anxiety disorder, whereby in the generalized anxiety disorder, you're afraid of you're broke, you're not having money, you don't have. It's something very general. You're fearing of something. Then there is the other disorder, which is social anxiety disorder, where sometimes you'll feel somebody is not fitting in the society, is feeling withdrawn. That's the social anxiety disorder. Then we have post-traumatic stress disorder. This is an aftermath of having undergone something traumatic. Say, for example, you are abused when you are a child, in your childhood. Maybe somebody has been raped, somebody has had an accident, or something traumatic, something that has really caused stress in you. Then we have, of course, panic disorder, where you tend to be in a panicky mood. We have obsessive compulsive disorder. We have agoraphobia, which is fear of insects. I don't know whether KATINDA you have the fear of chameleons or rats, or that fear of this is what we refer to as agoraphobia. I want to give some time for the rest of the panelists to share their input.
Yeah, Deepshika, what are your thoughts on the 6 types of anxiety disorders?
Anxiety disorders, I would say, like being constantly worrying about some particular thing or some particular thought or object or event or person. It could be anything. Like I have anxiety with lizards, for example. Take it.
Uh-huh.
So I have lizard phobia from lizards, and even I know that therapy, but I don't prefer to just apply that therapy for me because that's exposure therapy. Basically, they use exposure therapy with phobias. So
Mhm.
I don't want to take that risk for me. So I just apply, yeah. In that case, I apply just CBT and DBT, and just that's my way of dealing with that phobia. But yeah, phobias are there. Then social anxiety is there, separation anxiety is there, selective mutism is there. Lots of categories are there. Selective mutism is kind of like suppose in certain place or in certain situation, a person opt for just be on mute mode. That's kind of selective mutism. A person selects and he just he or she just be on mute in that particular situation. Suppose a child, school going child, is just very silent in school, not speaking even a single word, doesn't matter what is going on with him. So that kind of anxiety comes in the category of selective mutism. And apart from that, social phobia, already Edwin has mentioned, and OCD, we all know, like some has a little bit of OCD is not that bad, but definitely when anything just cross that lines, limit like beyond normal, then definitely that needs to be addressed. Like OCD with cleanliness or with just checking door or kind of things. So these are OCDs and generalized anxiety disorder. But the very important thing, we can just categorize any anxiety disorder only if the symptoms remain persistent for at least 6 months or more than that. Then only it will just be called as anxiety disorder. Otherwise, it's okay. That was just temporary anxiety. And we can't categorize that as anxiety disorder. This is something very important. Any symptom must remain to be persistent for at least 6 months for most of the days. So that's the basic symptom with any anxiety. Yeah.
Thank you. Dr. Mahima, what would you like to add to those points that Edwin
So I
and
would
Dipshika have said?
Edwin and Dipshika have shared some great points. I totally agree with both of them. And I would also like to add on some points specifically for pregnant and new moms. So there's also something called PMADS, which we refer to as perinatal mood and anxiety disorders, which are generally seen in women during pregnancy and post-delivery. So there could be prepartum anxiety. There could be a post-traumatic stress disorder seen even after a negative birthing experience. So if there is, any negative experience that a woman experiences during the birthing process, could be a prolonged labor, could be obstructive labor, which ends up converting into a cesarean, or any other such episode in which the mother goes through any kind of trauma during delivery. She could build up birth trauma, or also called as PTSD after delivery. There is also postpartum anxiety that a lot of women go through. And sometimes if the baby is, not doing too well after delivery and is taken to the NICU, the neonatal ICU, and the baby is kept under observation, there's a lot of separation anxiety also that builds up in the mother and the newborn baby. So,
Right.
in respect to the perinatal health, these are also the different kind of, perinatal mood and anxiety disorders that women during pregnancy and postpartum they experience.
Thank you. Thank you. And what about anxiety in teenagers? How can they know they've got anxiety? Edwin, would you like to tackle that one?
Maybe to touch a bit about anxiety in teenagers. They have a lot of anxiety, especially when they want to assume adult roles. They are imagining now they are grown-ups. They in between childhood and grown-ups, so they don't know what is expected of them. And at the same time, so much is happening in their body system. There is that biological changes, the hormonal imbalance, all these. Remember, all these chemicals in the body system, they can cause a lot of anxiety. And this is when I call upon all parents to understand that their children, their teenagers are undergoing a phase, and they need to understand that so much is happening. There is a lot of social expectations from them. There is a lot of biological changes happening in them. There is psychological changes going on in the body of this teenager, and they don't know what to expect in the future. So we should handle them with a lot of delicately, and also guide them to monitor their emotions, to monitor their, to know themselves well, the self-awareness component. Thank you, Katinda.
Thank you. Dipshika, what would you want to add about anxiety with teenagers?
So definitely, I would like to add on one point. Like in this very phase, like in teenage, just kids just struggle with their identity crisis. That's something very important. And due to that very thing, lots of psychological like conflicts goes inside their mind. So that needs to be handled very carefully, and that needs to be understood by parents and caretakers, whoever is with them at school, either at school or at home. All of them needs to be just careful about that, and try not to be harsh with them if by any chance they misbehave or loud time swing, and or any kind of thing. So, and yeah, awareness, they definitely need to work on their awareness, and we elders are there to help them, take them along with them, support them throughout. And apart from that, they must be engaged in constructive engagements, kind of physical work, sports, games, and lots of extracurricular activities, so that their energy can be diverted in a desired direction, and they can just get that right mind frame, and they can deal with that tough period of identity crisis, because they really struggle a lot. Like, who am I? Where am I? Actually, am I an adult or a child or an adolescent with this all fuss? So they really get confused. For this, they need a lot of psychological support from all around them. That was my take.
Thank you. What about Dr. Mahima? What would you like to add on anxiety with teenagers?
So in children, and specifically, I would say in teenagers and adolescents, there's a lot of anxiety where these children also get too addicted to the use of gadgets. They get anxious because they're compelled. They develop OCD to check their mobile phones again and again. Or they want to go to the social media and go see how many likes and how many followers are they getting on their social media. So there's a lot of such kind of digital anxiety that is also developing in children these days. And somewhere that's why this screen hour of certain children and teenagers should be limited. We need to restrict their screen hour. And apart from that, a lot of social anxiety also when they don't feel, prepared to face public. There are a lot of children who get public appearance anxiety. If they have to appear in front of, 100 people in the audience, they're not able to do that. As a child, I remember I used to have stage anxiety. Whenever I used to go on the stage to perform for any event, I used to get very, very anxious. And there are lots of times I've just gotten down the stage and not been there to perform. So in school, children, there are different types of anxiety that can build up. They can also be separation anxiety, if the parents are undergoing divorce and the child has to live with either parent. That can also lead to a lot of separation anxiety in children. So these are the extra, additions that I would like to make here, that these are the different kinds of anxieties that can be seen in children.
Thank you. Now, if you've just joined us, we're talking about dealing with anxiety. Please click, share, comment, and invite your friends to watch and ask questions, because that's why we do this Global Youth Mental Health show, just to encourage, to empower, to give you a bit more insight about different life issues. So, moving forward, anxiety in women before conception, during pregnancy, post-delivery, and menopause. Dr. Mahima, what would you like to say about that?
So, think that's creating a lot of awareness for women to understand that how during different transitions in their life they could experience anxiety and what are the signs and symptoms and how they can help themselves to overcome these issues. So practicing mindfulness is what I, advise all my patients that in pregnancy, pre-pregnancy, sometimes they get nervous. They want to
Okay.
skip the period because they want to get pregnant but are not able to get pregnant. So every time I
I think we have a
they
problem, Katinda.
Yeah, I'm trying to fix that. Dr. Mahima, we can actually hear you. There's a network issue. I think she's frozen. Yes.
now
Okay.
am I audible?
We can hear you now. We
Yeah,
didn't hear a thing you said before. Dr. Mahima, can you hear us?
Okay. Am I audible?
Now we can hear you now. Okay. I think you're having network issues there. You're frozen. Okay.
Am I audible now? Okay,
Yes.
okay,
perfectly audible.
so yes, so in pregnancy, women
Now you're
tend to get anxious when they start thinking about birthing, they start thinking about labor, and then they start getting anxious, thinking about, oh my God, what if I start my labor and there's nobody to take me to the hospital? Or, or what if I don't know how to push the baby out? So, these are the kind of anxiety that can develop in pregnant women towards the end of the pregnancy. And postpartum, if due to any reason the baby falls into the hospital,
Okay. Dr. Mahima, you're
okay,
frozen. We can't hear you.
everything going to be fine. So these are the common, commonly seen issues related to anxiety that we see in women pre-pregnancy, during pregnancy, post.
Thank you. Now, just moving on. Edwin, this is for you. What is the correlation between anxiety and substance use disorder?
Pardon me, you said what is the correlation between anxiety disorder and substance use disorder, right?
Correct.
Okay, thank you for that question, Katinda. I would want to say that this far we have understood what anxiety is, and we say that anxiety is normal, but once it becomes it's interfering with your normal life, then it becomes a disorder, something that needs specialized attention. And saying that, I would want to mention that an anxiety disorder, science has proven that anxiety disorder can easily lead to substance use disorder. I would want us, as we move on, I want us to have a triangle in our minds. At the top there, you put the anxiety disorder. On the bottom, you put substance use disorder. In the other corner, you put what do you call it? The self-medication. When you have the anxiety disorder, it's a feeling sometimes that you need to tone down your moods, because sometimes you feel you're elevated, you feel like you're having super feelings, and you need to calm down. You realize that you are anxious of, like the way we mentioned about the physical reaction. And when you are having tremors, or when you're having a problem, like the way I said, I started by saying I'm anxious about the COVID. If this persists, and just like Mahima said and Deepshika, I want to come out of that feeling. And I look for substances to cool down or to calm down my feelings. That's why we go for stimulants or depressants. You take something, you take alcohol to calm you down, or when the mood is down, the anxiety is making you to feel down, you want to be stimulated, you look for a stimulant. So the moment you use substances, the moment you use drugs to self-medicate, to respond to the anxiety in you, these can easily lead to addiction, because if you don't address the anxiety, which is at the top there, you'll tend to use substances, and eventually the continued use of some substances makes you to get addicted. So now that completes the cycle. There was anxiety, then you used to self-medicate, then again you became addicted to the substance that you're using. So anxiety disorder leads to substance abuse, and substance abuse can as well lead to anxiety. Ask me why. Substance abuse can lead to anxiety, because the moment these chemicals, once you are addicted, the moment again when it is withdrawn from the system, then the body reacts. You start feeling like you're missing something, you're not in the mood, you're having tremors, you're feeling disoriented, you're feeling confused, and unless and until you take another substance, then only your life can go back to normality.
Right.
So there is that correlation between substance abuse and the substance use disorders and anxiety. In fact, it has been confirmed by science that anxiety is a disorder on its own category, but can lead to substance abuse, and substance abuse can equally lead to anxiety. Thank you,
Right.
Katinda.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, Dipshika, is anxiety always a bad thing? You said before it's not always a bad thing. So can you please give some examples?
Yeah, sure. It's not a bad thing always. Suppose you have to give some presentation you are a bit anxious before that. So that anxiety is going to push you towards performing your best while you are presenting in front of people. So at that place, it's going to impact you positively. And suppose there are exams for students, then anxiety is kind of positive motivation for them. If I have some responsibility related to family or some project, I have some commitments, I have anxiety related to that. So that's going to push me in positive direction, in progressive direction. So at that place, anxiety is always good and required even. But it becomes alarming when it's out of our control and it interrupts with our daily life. Kind of we are unable to concentrate and our performance decreases due to anxiety. In such situations, we need to take note of it and seek help of professionals if the same symptoms just remain persistent for 6 months or more. But otherwise, in situational, if anxiety is situational, then it's fine. But if it's persistent for 6 months, then definitely we need to seek help without any delay or without any ifs and buts, because that's needed for our well-being. So that was my take.
Thank you. Dr. Mahima, what would you like to add? Is anxiety always a bad thing?
Yes, definitely. I think creating awareness is very important, and platforms like GYMHA, they're doing a great job in creating awareness on subjects like anxiety, because I feel that it's very under-discussed in the society, and there are a lot of people who are not even aware of what are symptoms of anxiety, how it can harm an individual's performance, and when is the right time to seek help. So, creating awareness is definitely one thing which will help people. And I think secondly, it's about teaching self-control, how they can practice mindfulness in their daily life routine so that right from the beginning, right from childhood, people are trained to practice mindfulness in their daily life. So if we look at preventive health, if we start teaching children about mindfulness right from the beginning, I think till quite an extent it will help in reducing the prevalence of anxiety disorders in future.
Thank you. Edwin, what would you like to add? Is anxiety always a bad thing? What would you like to say? Edwin, can you hear us? Okay, I'm not sure whether he can or not. Edwin, can you hear us?
I would say I would agree with what Dr. Mahima has said and Deepshika that we agreed that anxiety is something very normal. It is only when it becomes a problem. Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, we can.
Hello.
Yes,
We can hear you.
Hi, Kachin. Can you?
Continue.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead. Edwin, go ahead. We can hear you. Okay, I'm not sure what's happening. Okay.
So sorry, I think we are having a communication breakdown. Now we proceed and say that anxiety is something very normal, and it's expected in all our day-to-day lives. But once it becomes it appears with your systems, then that's when it becomes a problem, and you should seek help. And what I would say is that anxiety, we should always be conscious. We should have that self-awareness. We should have emotional intelligence accompanied with the self-awareness, and you monitor your feelings. You monitor, like now the way I said that I'm anxious about what to expect out of the second job. I'm aware, and I'll keep monitoring my feelings so that they don't interfere with the systems. I'm expecting, if need be, I'll get a small headache, or I'll get some small temperatures rising up, or I'll get some, this is expected because I'm prepared, I'm aware. The self-awareness, the emotional intelligence, I master and monitor my feelings. That way we will be able to manage anxieties. But it's also very important that, like Deepshika is saying, if it exceeds, if it is still persistent, you seek for professional assistance. Go for a psychiatric review and get the medication and take the medication, or go for that psychotherapy, and things will be good.
Thank you. Thank you. So, Dr. Mahima, when is the right time to seek professional help? So, like with the women you work with, when is a good time for them to seek help?
So yes, like Deepshika and Edwin have also mentioned that when it starts affecting your regular routine work, for example, in pregnancy, if the anxiety is building up so much that it starts leading to hypertension, or it starts, leading to palpitations where the mother is not able to rest peacefully, sleep peacefully, eat, concentrate on regular activities, then it definitely starts affecting her whole regular, ADLs, the activities of daily living, her normal routine, and somewhere it can also lead to a high risk of preterm labor in pregnancy, or too much of anxiety can lead to a constant disturbed sleep in the mother. And if she is not sleeping well, she never feels fresh, she won't be able to focus on other work in her pregnancy, she won't be able to eat properly. So if it starts affecting the health of an individual, because constant anxiety can also lead to a lot of lifestyle disorders. It can lead to hypertension. We all know stress can also lead to diabetes, and it can also lead to thyroid disorders. So it's important for an individual to understand what is the normal regular routine like. When the regular routine starts getting affected, how to know what's the line that's being drawn. And when that line is crossed, they must seek professional help. Little bit of anxiety is okay. We all need to learn to manage that. Depends on the situation. Like Deepshika was mentioning, situationally, like we said. But if it becomes chronic, like Deepshika mentioned, then that's when one must seek professional help rather than living with it. Rather than making it part of their life and just living with anxiety forever. It's good to seek professional help so that one can take proper help at the right time and live a life which is anxiety free. Little bit is okay, but when it starts affecting the regular, life, one must seek help.
Thank you. Deepshika, when is the right time to seek professional help? What do you think?
Just when one feels that it's interrupting with their daily life, daily routine, and that's affecting their concentration, their memory, their sleep patterns, their health, their psychological well-being, then that's the right time, definitely. Like self-awareness, self-introspection, and self-reflection is very important. These are the three key factors which are very important to just which helps one individual to check that whether I'm at right track, I'm on right track or not, whether anxiety is controlling my life, whether I'm controlling anxiety. So anxiety is important, of course, but it must be within our control, within our controlling capacity, not beyond that. If it's going beyond that in any way and one realizes, then at that very moment, definitely one must seek professional help without any delay to assure their well-being. Yeah.
And what are the ways to cope with anxiety? So,
Sorry?
what are the ways that people can cope with anxiety?
Okay. So ways, first of all, manage their routine, like include exercise, meditation, mindfulness, gratitude kind of things, and eating healthy, sleeping well. Digital detoxification is very important because the digital addiction is something really getting worse day by day. So it's something very important. We all need to just the way we are aware and conscious about our physical detoxification. In the same way, digital detoxification is also very important. And then just maintaining healthy lifestyle, keeping ourselves as well, our life in control, in check, and be cautious about when it's just interfering with our well-being. So at that moment, it's interfering, then one needs to keep proper check on that and seek professional help. And when it comes to ways, so definitely self-help, lots of self-help ways are there, self-help articles are there, books are there, and we are there to support each and every person on the globe, definitely, because we are global organization. Which organization creates awareness, mental health awareness. So we are there to support each and every individual on this globe. So the ways one can manage, just maintaining healthy lifestyle, the very first thing. Then second thing, digital detoxification is one very relevant thing. And then comes including exercise, taking healthy diet, sleeping well, and just constructive engagement should be there. Because whenever you are engaged constructively, that gives you a boost, that keeps you in a just well-being frame, well-being mind frame of everything, overall well-being. And if we just get out of track from there, then something happens either on physical level or emotional level or psychological level. So we need to be aware of all those things. And then mindfulness, meditation, yoga, whatever suits to you, taking breaks from your regular routines, trying something new, so writing something. This is something really very good. Writing something.
Journaling.
It could be, yeah, definitely. Not just daily diary writing kind of thing. They can write any book, any article, anything. But just in whichever way they just, regenerate their mind. They can get this that rewiring. We need to rewire our mind time to time so that our thought process must be in well set.
Okay, I think we're all frozen. Deepshika, we can't hear you. You're frozen. Edwin, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Katinda. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I think Dipshika, we've lost. She's frozen. So I'll ask you the same question. So, what are the ways to cope with anxiety? What can people do?
Thank you, Katinda. First and foremost is that I would advise our viewers and the people around to recognize the early warning signs. These things, anxiety does not just happen. There are those signs that the symptoms will tell you that you master the warning signs. Don't ignore them, and you can only do this through self-awareness. The next step that I would advise, being an addiction psychologist, avoid substances, avoid alcohol, avoid drugs, avoid, because you've learned that drugs can lead to anxiety disorder, and equally anxiety disorder can lead to drug abuse. So keep off. The other one is to avoid caffeinated drinks. Caffeine is a stimulant, and it will keep your brains and whatever you're active on and on. So avoid caffeinated drinks. Then once you realize that this anxiety is causing problems and it's interfering with your life, go and seek that professional help. Of course, we have the psychiatrist who handle the mental wellness. And once you're given the medication, take it to the letter. Adherence to this medication. Of course, sometimes there are people who will say that this medication is causing unpleasant feeling. But if it's the only sure way of managing your anxiety, just go for it. And also, do not abuse the psychiatric medication. These psychiatric medications, they are mood altering drugs, and some people tend to abuse them. So we have to be very careful. Take them as per prescription. Do not self-medicate. Then the other one is you seek support. Join a support group. Just like Dipshika has said, we are here as GYMHA to support you, to give that mental health support. So seek for help, seek for support group to join. Then there are those therapeutic exercises, like Dipshika has said, join yoga, do writing, do something that you enjoy. Something that will drift from the normal routine, and the anxiety will be contained. Thank you very much, Katinda.
Thank you. I think also something else that is kind of really important is for people to get outside in the outdoors and detox from technology. Because I think technology also creates a lot of anxiety for people who don't know how to manage them very well. So it's good to just take time out and just take a walk in the nature, just fresh air, just breathe and just take your time, Even take a friend with you, just to have a friendly walk, just enjoying the scenery, smelling the roses, looking at the trees, looking at the sky. I think that for me is very healing. Yeah. So
and I have something to add on. Yeah. The very simple tips for all of those who are present here at the show. So just include greens in your routine, whether in it's your outfits, in your diet, in your decorum, like interiors. You can use lots and lots of green shades. That reduces anxiety scientifically according to color therapy. So if you are feeling that you are anxious or you have anxiety, you can use lots of green colors. Like I'm wearing today olive green just for this topic. So you can go ahead, and collect as much green as possible in your diet. In your interiors, in your outfits, whatever you like, in your makeup. So Katinda, we are supposed to see you in green lipstick, suppose, at anxiety topic.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
I know that time.
Like that's something very simple, and that reduces anxiety instantly, I would say. Just try it out whenever you're feeling. And using green tea.
Green tea.
Instead
Yes.
of black tea or milk tea, you can use green tea. That also reduces anxiety. Like as much green as you want, you can include. That's welcomed.
Well, I think you can also think the color green.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can think definitely.
So before we conclude, I know there's so many ways that we protect and manage our mental health and well-being. So Deepshika, what is for you one thing that you do on a daily basis to protect your mental health and well-being?
Like I have just mentioned, my favorite shade is green. Just telling you all. And then I use lots of greens and then stay in touch with nature, use yoga, meditation, and just using my time constructively as much as possible.
Great.
Like, just writing articles or designing courses or just engaging in projects or family time kind of things. So
Thank
that's my way.
Thank you. Edwin, how do you check in with your mental health and soothe your soul?
Well, Katinda, I normally go out. I normally take a walk. And I also like engaging with positive-minded people. People like Deepshika, people like Dr. Mahima, people like KATINDA. You know, and also this triggers me to go and do a lot of research. I'm aware of what to expect. So people to relate with should be positive-minded. I always like being very with positive-minded people. Taking a walk and taking a book to read, that one is very therapeutic and very good for your health, mental health, that is.
Fantastic. Now, if you're watching the show, this is the Global Youth Mental Health Awareness Show, and we've been talking with the guest today about dealing with anxiety. So you can find more information on the Global Youth Mental Health Awareness by visiting our website, which is www.globalyouthmentalhealthawareness.org. And if you wanted to send us an email, you can email Jude, Jude, at GYMHA.org. So before we go, where can people find you, Deepshika? Are you on Facebook? Are you on LinkedIn?
I'm on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Instagram with the same name. People can find me very easily.
Thank you. What about Edwin? Where can people find you?
Yes, I'm on social media platform. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook. Kibe Edwin Gitao is my address, is my name on the social media platforms. I also have a website, www.uhaicenter.org, www.uhaicenter.org.
Thank you.
Thank you, Katinda.
So, thank you, Edwin. Thank you, Deepshika. And we just lost Dr. Mahima. I think she got connectivity issues on your insight on dealing with anxiety. So, if you're watching the show, please ask questions, interact with us. If there's something you want to know more, we've got a lot of knowledgeable people in this platform who can actually support, help, empower, and give you more insight. So I want to thank you, viewers, for being fabulous audience and for watching the Global Youth Mental Health Awareness Show. Until next time, may all you experience the frequencies of love and stay blessed, stay safe. See you later.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for having us here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Namaste.